I still hear the click of the door more than her voice. "You're outdated. We're done here," my wife said, eyes flat, already somewhere else. Her father stood behind her, arms folded like a verdict. I nodded, understood. I didn't argue. I didn't plead. That's what shocked them most. Weak men beg. Dangerous ones take notes. Her mother leaned forward as I picked up my coat. "You were always the weak one," she sneered, tasting the words. I smiled at the floor and walked out of the company I built with my hands and my spine. That was the day I learned betrayal doesn't announce itself with drama. It arrives with paperwork. 10 years earlier, this company was a folding table, 2 laptops, and coffee rings burned into cheap wood. I met my wife in that chaos. She believed in me back then, or believed in what I could become. Late nights turned into shared dreams. Shared dreams turned into shared signatures. Her father funded us, not out of faith, out of control. Every contract passed through his lawyers. Every celebration ended with a reminder, family looks after family. I mistook that for loyalty. I was wrong. I gave them everything, strategy, vision, years I'll never get back. I missed birthdays, I missed funerals, I missed myself, and still they called me replaceable. The betrayal revealed itself slowly, like rot, a meeting I wasn't invited to, a bank account I could no longer access, emails that stopped copying me. When I asked questions, I was told to rest. When I pushed back, I was called emotional. Then the board meeting appeared on my calendar, canceled before I could attend. That night, my wife slept like a child, peaceful, innocent. I stared at the ceiling and understood something cold and clarifying. They weren't pushing me out, they were erasing me. So I stopped reacting, and I started planning. They stripped my title, froze my salary, cut my cards. Within a month, I was washing cars at dawn, knuckles cracked, soap burning my skin. Men who used to pitch to me handed me their keys without eye contact. I didn't feel shame. I felt focus. At night, I replayed every document I'd ever signed, every temporary clause, every trust they insisted was just tax optimization. One afternoon, a client lingered while I dried his windshield. Older man, quiet eyes. He'd been in finance longer than I'd been alive. "You used to run that firm," he said. "I used to," I replied. He nodded, then paused. "Those shares you signed years ago, you never sold them." I laughed. "They made sure I did." "No," he said gently, "they made sure you thought you did." He handed me a card. I nearly dropped the keys when I saw the numbers. $5.7 billion. They'd fired me, but they'd never taken my ownership. Buried inside a retirement trust, structured, shielded, boring by design, were voting rights they'd ignored because they underestimated me. They assumed I was tired, emotional, finished. I spent 6 months in silence. I hired the best attorneys money could buy. Quietly. I audited everything, tracked transfers, recorded calls, logged lies. Every insult they thought was private became evidence. I learned patience washing cars. You see everything when people think you're invisible. The execution was clean. Monday morning, the board convened an emergency meeting. I wasn't on the agenda until the trust activated. 76% of the voting shares, mine. The room turned. My wife's father laughed first, then he stopped. My wife's face drained as the numbers appeared on the screen. She looked for me like prey looks for an exit that isn't there. I joined the call late, on purpose. "Who authorized this?" the CEO hissed. "I did," I said calmly. "The owner." Silence has weight when it lands on people who thought they were untouchable. By noon, the CEO was gone. By evening, the board had restructured. By night, the company had new leadership. None of them. The confrontation wasn't loud, it was private. My wife sat across from me, hands shaking. Her mother didn't sneer this time. She didn't speak at all. Her father tried reason, then threats, then apologies. I listened. Then I slid the documents across the table. "I built this," I said. "You borrowed it. I'm just taking it back." They lost everything they tried to steal. Positions, influence, illusions. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't need to. Now I walk past the building sometimes. Not inside. Around it. power doesn't need a desk. They called me weak because I didn't fight them when they expected noise. They mistook silence for surrender, but silence is where strategies grow. I don't hate them. Hate is loud, messy. I prefer results, and every time I think of that morning, keys in my hand, water running red with soap, I smile, because the man they fired was the one washing cars. The man who came back owned everything.